Today I'm going to be talking about dismissal based on misconduct. It was inspired by a post that I received from IR Network Dailly from LexisNexis. So the case was about a taxi driver that was dismissed for being under the influence of alcohol and subsequently reversing into a pole. So they didn't mention if there was any damage to the employer's property, meaning the taxi, but they just said that he was dismissed for misconduct, being under the influence of alcohol while on duty. Okay, so I will share the post so that you can follow with me. But first, before I share the post, or maybe let me start by sharing the post, and then I will share the 5 things that need to be met in order for a dismissal to be fair. Okay, so there's the case. So you can see the title is called Substantive Fairness in Dismissal. It's Dlamini Mashiane versus the local association. Okay, so as I said, that the taxi driver was dismissed for being under the influence of alcohol and reversing into a pole. Okay, so I was very impressed, I'm not gonna lie, with the way that the taxi association handled this. First, before I get to the part where I'm impressed of how the taxi association handled this, let's first go through the 5 criteria that must be met in order for a dismissal to be fair. Okay, so I took a picture of like the, what do you call it, the worksheet or the workbook that I was using when I was attending preparation for arbitration at the CCMA, like a course that I attended at the CCMA. So now, in order for a dismissal to be fair, the employer needs to prove if the worker broke a rule or conduct in the workplace, and whether the rule or standard was valid and reasonable, and whether the worker was aware or could have reasonably been aware of the rule or standard, and whether the employer has been consistent in applying the rule and the standard, and whether the dismissal was the appropriate sanction for the rule being broken. Okay, so now I am very impressed with how the taxi association actually handled this matter. So now the first test is, did the worker break a rule? Yes, he broke a rule. He came into work, or he was operating the employer's property while under the influence of alcohol. And then, was the rule or standard valid or reasonable? Yes, it is reasonable, it is valid. We all expected to come to work sober in our 100% senses. And then this one, I was impressed actually with how they met this third one, whether the worker was aware or could have reasonably been aware of the rule or standard. So I was impressed that they proved that the worker underwent induction when he started as a taxi driver. So I was impressed that taxi drivers are being inducted, and there's even a formal process where they can actually refer the matter to the CCMA, and that when the matter was referred to the CCMA, it actually passed the CCMA test for fairness. Okay, so remember, at the CCMA they test if the dismissal was substantively fair and was procedurally fair. So substantively fair meaning that the grounds were enough to warrant a dismissal, and procedural fairness, whether the proper procedure was followed. So I was very, very impressed with how this matter was handled by the taxi association. Okay.